Okay, so before we get into the actual, subjects, we need to understand have to, why we as bankers have to be exceptional in analytical reasoning skills. And that is the skill which is being tested in IBPS exams. Okay, there are three parts to the IBPS preliminary
Okay.
exam, which is reasoning, analytical skills, and English. Okay, all of these are essential for bankers. That is why it is being tested. Um, a lot of candidates ask us, sir, with computerization, everything is computerized, but still, why do we require these kind of skills? We will see why we require it. These skills, English language, reasoning, and analytical skills are absolutely essential for bankers. We'll see why.
Okay, so
See, employees must master technical skills. Okay, because now all banking operations are computerized. Okay, the different aspects of banking operations, there is a lot of data management, cyber security, and a lot of new technological skills are entering into banking. Now it is all, customer services are done by bots. The answering machines are
yes.
answering customers. Artificial intelligence is coming into data analysis. Machine learning is capturing the transaction pattern of customers. But all of these requires behavioral skills by the people who are implementing all of these. Okay. Banking operations may be computerized, but the front end has to be manned by people who will understand how to work in a computer. The person who is working in a bank branch is an interface between the back-end computers and the front-end customers. So you are an interface, you are an intermediary between the customer and your systems. So you must have good computer knowledge, technical knowledge, but you must also have a lot of behavioral aspects and critical thinking. That is why a banker should have a lot of reasoning skills and analytical aptitude. Communication to effectively interact with clients and respond to their needs clearly and concisely. Today, as a banker, you will be interacting with a lot of customers. You will have to respond to them clearly and concisely. You can't be spending too much time explaining the same thing. You must be clear in your thoughts. You must be clear in your communication. So you have to think clearly. You have to speak clearly. You have to respond clearly and concisely. You should have good telephonic skills, email chat skills, right? Negotiations to reach agreements, resolve conflicts. Again, when you're a banker, you will interact with a lot of customers. There will be a lot of commercial dealings which you have to do. Like you may have to go to your company and you have to negotiate a 10 crore loan deal. You will have to negotiate different aspects with the customer. You will have to negotiate on the tenure. You will have to negotiate on the interest rates. You will have to negotiate on the terms of the loan. There will be a lot of back and forth. You need not only convince the customer. There are internally several departments which you will have to convince to lend to a customer. It requires a lot of critical thinking, analytical thinking, and a lot of communications. Negotiation is a skill which every banker should have. Critical thinking to analyze complex situations, identify problems, and find solutions. The problems faced by one customer may be different from the problems faced by another customer. There are a lot of variations as far as banking is concerned. One customer may have issue with the debit card. Another customer may have issue with an internet banking. Another customer may not have got his checkbook. So there will be a 50 queries which you will receive in a day. Now, how do you apply your mind to each of these queries? Find solutions to each of them. That should have a lot of mind space. You should have differentiated thinking, variable thinking. And you should be able to analyze what is the issue and give a solution to the customer. That is the role of a banker. Attention to detail as precision and thoroughness are essential for managing financial transactions. See, please understand, Kirtana, in banking, there is nothing called I was 80% correct, I was 90% correct. Okay, banking is a precise business. Either you are right or you are wrong. you cannot have transactions where you are partially right. For example, you cannot say, sir, I have done 90 transactions correctly, only 5 transactions were wrong. There cannot be even one mistake in banking. That is because we are dealing with customers' money. Please note, a customer who deposits 10,000 rupees should be given credit for 10,000 rupees. Now, let us assume somebody is working in a bank. A customer gave a deposit of 10,000. Due to error, they did not punch 10. What happens? Can you tell me? A customer deposits 10,000 Kirtana.
Okay,
The,
sir.
the teller misses 10. What happens? When they are entering the transaction, they miss 10. What happens?
Sorry, I can't understand.
You couldn't understand. Okay. A
Yeah.
customer comes and deposits 10,000 rupees. Okay.
Come again, sir. Sorry.
A customer comes and deposits 10,000 rupees.
Okay.
Okay. The
Okay.
teller, by mistake, misses to input 10.
Actually, that's wrong.
That's wrong, correct. So what happens to the
Yeah.
transaction?
Uh,
Instead of
I think it.
1,000, instead of
Yeah.
10,000, which they should have input, they have input
Yeah,
as
that's a
1,000
1
rupees.
lakh.
No, they have input as 1,000. They missed 10.
Okay.
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 Now a teller
Okay.
cannot say, sir, I just missed one entry, one digit. That's all.
Okay.
Look at the impact this will have on the customer.
Okay. So,
Right? A customer might
yeah.
deposit 10,000 and they may issue a check against that amount, right?
Yeah.
If the teller inputs 10,000 as 1,000, the check will bounce, saying the
Yes.
customer did not maintain sufficient balance.
Yeah.
It will result in major legal issues because the error is on the banker's side, right?
Yes, sir.
So a banker has to be precise and exact. There cannot be, I was 99% right. There is nothing in banking which is 99% right. You made one
Yeah.
mistake, it will result in serious implications
Yes.
because we are
So it
dealing
may
in public
affect the
money.
customer, right?
It will affect you, it will affect the bank, it will affect the
Yeah.
customer. Once it affects the customer, see what happens when a check bounces. The check bounces, it becomes a legal case. It becomes a cheating complaint. The customer cannot bounce a
Yeah.
check, right?
Yeah.
Imagine a customer bounces a check, then it goes legal, okay,
Yeah.
and the customer can file a complaint on the bank saying, I have deposited 10,000, the bank made the mistake. You will be penalized. The bank will be completely penalized. That is why
Yeah.
bankers have to be precise in their working. You cannot have any margin of error when you are a banker, right?
Okay. Yeah, sir.
Adaptability and time management to quickly adapt to new technologies, processes, do multiple tasks while meeting deadlines. Very, very important, right? A banker
Yeah,
will
sir.
have to handle internal tasks. A banker will have to handle customers. You will have to work with other teams. So many things that you have to do as a banker. For all of these, reasoning and analytical aptitude is very, very critical. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's
Okay,
look at
sir.
some study which has been done by PwC. Have you heard of PwC?
No, sir. I have no idea.
PricewaterhouseCoopers. You are an audit student, right? BCom.
Yes, sir.
PricewaterhouseCoopers, big auditors. Okay. They are large consultants and
Okay.
auditors. Okay. They have done some
Okay.
studies. Okay. Digital
Okay.
skills are important. Okay. 70% say that digital skills are important. But even higher than that, that is 77%, recognize that critical thinking skills such as emotional intelligence and judgment are crucial for banking professionals. The skills which are very, very important for you as a banker are emotional intelligence and judgment. How will judgment come? Judgment comes through reasoning, through your numerical aptitude, through your knowledge. Banking involves so much of figures, right? Banking involves so much of variances and situations where you will have to project yourself and arrive at certain conclusions where you need to use your judgment. The judgment should not be basis your biases or your experiences. No. Any judgment that you make as a banker should be basis reason. reasoning. It should be basis the numbers you have got, which is your analytical numbers. And you should have the skill to make proper judgments. That is what is being tested in the IBPS exams. While we want to leverage the technological advances, we need the right people with appropriate skills who can solve problems, drive productivity, and create growth. These two or three aspects are very important for bankers. You should be able to solve problems for the bank as well as for the customers. You should have that kind of thinking and judgment. You should drive productivity. Bankers are measured in terms of productivities. How many customers do you handle in a day? How much of business do we generate in a day? How have we grown over the past year? Are you able to analyze whether we are growing, we are degrowing? What is the system of growth? What is the pattern of growth? All of these you need to be able to analyze and understand as a banker. So, what is critical thinking? It is a mindset which aims at logically analyzing situations and arriving at decisions and solutions and able to explain your viewpoint, interpreting and justifying a decision. So, you have to be able to think logically. You have to arrive at logical solutions, well reasoned solutions, and you should also be able to justify your solutions through proper presentation of your viewpoint and justifications. These three are absolutely essential skills. It involves searching for facts, evidence, and understanding and analyzing different perspectives. Why do we need reasoning skills? Because we have to understand different perspectives. Why do we need analytical skills? Because for every problem, there are multiple solutions which you need to be able to derive at. Personal qualities such as listening, humility, curiosity, and open mindedness, and taking a step back, these are very important qualities for a banker. You must be able to listen well. You must be able to read well. These are tested in your comprehension skills. Why we need listening and comprehension skills? Because we need to be able to understand ourselves when somebody talks. See, bankers should have good listening skills. Bankers should have good reading skills. You must be able to understand and read documents because, see, you need to develop this character of reading in depth. It cannot be just overall browsing of certain documents. No. A banker should be able to read in depth, which we will take you through in our course. We will take you through different comprehensions. We will take you through, word solving, word substitution exercises so that you will build up that quality. But as a banker, you must be able to read well. You must be able to read between the sentences. You must be able to read the fine print. You must be able to arrive at decisions basis what you are reading. Banking is a regularly changing situation. See, the laws and regulations of banking will keep changing, Kirtana. So, any change that Reserve Bank brings about or your internal management brings about will be communicated through circulars to you. Right? When these circulars come, a lot of people do not read it. A lot of people are going by what is verbally told to them. Verbal communication, while it is essential, may not be full. That is why reading and comprehension are very, very essential skills. Every communication cannot be in a written way. So verbal communication is also very essential. You need to have very good listening ears. And you should be able to understand and appreciate why certain things are being done. That requires reasoning skills. It requires self-awareness regarding one's biases, beliefs, stereotypes, and cognitive biases to limit their impact on decision making. So we must, as bankers, we must have as little biases. What is a bias? Any idea what is a bias?
I'm not sure about that, sir.
You haven't heard this word biased? Biased, partial. Have you heard of partial? When in schools
Yeah,
there are some students
yeah,
who
yeah,
say, that teacher is partial towards him, that sir
yeah,
is
sir.
partial towards her, things like that.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know.
Why would they be partial? Why are some teachers partial to some students? Why?
Because they are favored to them.
Why?
Yeah, because they are favored to them.
Right? Why will they favor a particular student?
Mm. Maybe they like.
Might be because they dress well, right? Might be
Yeah,
because they speak,
they study well.
yeah, they study well, right?
Yeah.
So these are biases. What you feel is, if this person studies well, he's a good person.
Okay.
Has anyone thought like that? Have you ever thought like that? This person dresses well, so he should be a good person. This
Yeah,
person
sir.
talks very good, very nicely and politely, so I think he has a good character.
Yeah.
These are biases. A person who speaks well is good. That's a bias. So what you will do is, a guy who does not talk well, a person who does not talk well, what will you do? He doesn't talk well is not a good guy.
Yes,
This
exactly.
happens when you are recruiting, no? When we recruit, when we are sitting in an interview panel, what happens is a guy may not be able to communicate that well, so we think he may not be efficient.
Yeah.
So that's a bias. Okay, a guy may not
Okay.
be able to communicate well, but he can do his job well, right? He can write very good programs.
Yeah.
He may not be able to say out well. But as a banker, we should be free of these biases.
Okay.
We should not be partial to one, we should not be partial to another. We should follow rules and regulations. There is no bias when we are a banker, right?
Okay, sir.
This can be practiced, all of these can be practiced through effort. And we should promote a collaborative spirit and service of collective intelligence. We should use our intelligence to be of service to the customers. Okay. So all of these reasoning tests, what do they do? It tests your cognitive abilities. Have you heard of this word cognitive? Thinking skills.
No, sir.
Cognitive
Okay.
is thinking and behavioral skills, right?
Okay.
It allows you, this cognitive thinking allows you to grasp a problem and then provide a solution to problems. You need to have sharp understanding to said as well as unsaid words. That is why reasoning is very important. Somebody may communicate something, but they may not mean it. For example, a customer will come and say, "Sir, I am using my debit card in the ATM, but money is not coming out. I have a problem." Some bankers, some people who are in customer service, they may not understand it fully. They will simply say, "Sir, you are punching your PIN number wrongly." Have you had that kind of experience? Do you use ATMs?
No, sir.
You don't use ATMs at
Actually,
all. Hmm.
I have a HDFC bank account.
Hmm.
It's still in minor account.
Oh, still a minor account. Then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
convert it. No,
yeah.
then go and convert it.
I told them to convert, but still they are taking too much of time.
So see, this is the reason a banker should have a good cognitive ability. Okay, you
Actually,
see,
I'm
the
asking
people may
update
not
weekly
have
once.
understood and appreciated your requirement, right?
Yeah,
So the point
they are
is,
saying some silly reasons to me.
when you become a banker, you should try and solve things. Okay, rather
Okay,
than keep it pending or creating an unsatisfied customer. Support and help to customers, solve the customer's problems. Okay, and for that, it is not that you can simply say, "Sir, you are," when a customer comes to you and says, "My net banking is not working," you can simply say, "Sir, all my system is fine, only you have a fault at your end." It is so simple to say, right? There are several times where we have been denied service by saying you are at fault. It is easy to say, but it is difficult for a banker to investigate what happens. See, for example, a customer goes into net banking, he may be punching the right, PIN number, but still his net banking is not opening. What could be the errors? The error could be there could be a cache problem. So every system has a cache, right? So there could be errors in cache. There could be browser issues. We have to involve ourselves and think what could be wrong here. We may have to involve technical teams into that. But every problem provides an opportunity to solve. Your understanding has to be sharp in solving customers' issues. Developing the ability to relate numbers and ideas. See, any number is not standalone. A number gives an idea. You should be able to interpret a number, and you should be able to interpret it quickly, right? You cannot be like, for example, when you are analyzing a balance sheet in BCom, have you analyzed balance sheets? Have
Yes,
you
sir.
done balance sheet analysis?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, when you look at a balance sheet, see the in banking, you look at balance sheets. Okay, when you go for a loan proposal, there might be a corporate who will say, "Yeah, sir, this is my balance sheet. Now tell me." Okay, they may give you a balance sheet and say, "You give me an approximate idea what you can do for me." Right? You have to analyze the balance sheet then and there. You cannot tell the customer, "Okay, sir, you give me your balance sheet. After 3 days, I will analyze and come and do it for you." Which is better for a customer? A banker who has rough ideas of what can be possible, or a person who says, "I will go for 3 days and then come back to you." The customer likes a banker who can give you better solutions, quicker solutions, right? But
Yes,
it may
sir.
not be precise.
Definitely.
It need not be precise. Here, in such circumstances, you can just go through the balance sheet and say, "Sir, you already have so much of debt in your balance sheet. I may not be able to do it." Or you can say, "Sir, you have to build up your net worth. Your profitability seems to be decreasing. Last 3 years, I am seeing that your profitability has dropped. So I may not be able to do it." Or you can say, "Sir, you bring in more capital into the business. You increase your money in business. I will be able to do it." Or you can say, "Sir, your inventory stock seems to be going up. So you may face a problem after 6 months. Your cash flow might become a problem." But for that, you have to be able to analyze the numbers that is presented in front of you quickly. For everything, you can't go to a system and say, "I will come back to you after 3 days." But when you are doing a detailed loan proposal, then you will need complete system analysis. But while you're discussing with the customer to give rough ideas, you should be able to crunch the numbers then and there. That is the ability of a good banker. The ability to associate things. There are different variations in banking. There are different things that happen in banking as an industry. There are a lot of pattern of events that happen when you are posted as a banker in a branch. There may, as I said, there are so many variations as far as bankers are concerned. There are current accounts. A current account customer may have multiple problems, may have multiple service issues. He may need a loan. He may need cash collections. He may need
Hello,
certain.
sir.
Yeah. So the ability to associate things. See, the point is there are different events which happen, but you must be able to associate and understand a pattern. Okay. See, that is where reasoning will help you, or analytical and numerical aptitudes will help you. When you see a certain set of numbers, you should be able to analyze the pattern. What is the profitability trend for a company for the last 3 years? Because that's a very basic document which we basic data that we require when we are doing a loan proposal, right? What is the last 3 months salary of a customer? How are the deductions happening for a customer when they are applying for a personal loan? When you go for a pitch, you will be able to understand and relate different aspects. When a customer says, "My business involves a lot of cash collection, I'm a large supermarket, a lot of customers come and pay cash," then you as a banker should be able to offer him a cash pickup solution. Or when a customer says, "A lot of my customers are asking for online payments," then you should be able to offer them online payment solutions. So as a banker, the requirement of customers are different at different points in time. You should be able to relate the requirements of the customers with the products and services that you have. And that is where you need to have associative abilities. Moving on to the numerical aptitude. Numerical aptitude involves drawing conclusions from the data provided and to assess several of the skills of the person. Critical thinking ability. We have discussed this. Basic and general arithmetic operations. So as I have told you already, the numerical aptitude part tests your basic arithmetic operations, basic computing skills, and algebraic skills. It does not involve very advanced, calculations and all that. But
Yes, sir, you told already.
you must have proper understanding, and you must be able to apply the arithmetic skills very fast. Ability to perform estimates. That's what I was telling you earlier. You should be able to give approximations and estimates quickly. Ability to analyze graphs and other data. There's a lot of data which will come to you as a banker. You must be able to analyze that data and arrive at conclusions. Level of speed in making analysis and assessments. As we have discussed, speed is of essence in banking. You must be able to do assessments and make analysis very fast. Level of concentration in solving problems. Concentration is absolutely important as far as a banker is concerned. That is being tested when you are doing logical reasoning, arithmetic aptitude, numerical aptitude, as well as English. Banker should be completely concentrated on their job. There cannot be any deviation as far as a banker is concerned. And during the course of our program also, Kirtana, you should be completely focused, because this involves a lot of focus and preparation. This involves a lot of time which you will have to spend. We would require
Okay,
you
sir.
to completely focus on this, because if you are not able to focus, you can't do things fast. Okay, and
Okay,
if you
sir.
don't focus, you may make errors. Banking, as we have already said, is a precise business. There is no scope for error in banking. Either you are right or you're wrong. And if you are wrong, you will expose yourself and your bank to huge penalties. Please understand.
Okay, sir.
So banking requires utmost concentration. There cannot be, multiple phone calls when I'm sitting in a bank. These are all signs that the person is not attentive. And when you are not
Okay.
attentive, you will not be able to perform well. See, the problem with banking is you are you will be using a system. Even a slight miss of concentration will lead to disastrous results. So it is very important for bankers to be absolutely focused and concentrated on their job. And that practice we will give you when you are preparing for the IBPS exams. Okay, and that is being tested in the IBPS exams.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is just a background of why we are doing, what we are doing. We are preparing for the IBPS exams, but as a candidate, you must understand why all these are being tested, how it will be useful to you when you are a banker. Because you must always understand, a lot of candidates ask this repeatedly. They will ask, sir, everything is, there is a calculator, there is a computer. Why will I have to do all this? There is an app where I input, certain numbers. It will give me simple interest. It will give me compounded interest. It will give me everything. It will give you, but that is only a support. You must always understand that computers and electronics are only support for you. Basic intelligence the banker must have, and they should be able to excel in their intelligence. Right? Okay, so we will move to the next. We will move into the reasoning part, which is the first session. Okay.